Hey there, you witchers and sorceresses you. This is Brett, and welcome to Whispers of Oxenfurt, a podcast based on the book series The Witcher by Polish author Andrzej Sapkowski. The intro song is A Story You Won't Believe by Marcin Przybylewicz and Percival Schutenbach. We will continue today with The Last Wish, and this episode will cover the short story, The Lesser Evil. After the summary, I will discuss Renfri's upbringing and the effect it had on her life, Geralt's paradox of having to choose between what he saw as two negative outcomes, and attempt to answer the question of this story, is there a such thing as a lesser evil? So let's jump right into our philosophical quandary with The Lesser Evil. Geralt rides into the town of Blaviken, carrying a Kikimora carcass, and finds that the town people are preparing for an event the following day. He locates the local alderman, Caldemain, and inquires about receiving an award for the beast. Caldemain says that he has nothing to give, but a guard overhears and suggests that he show it to the local wizard, Irian, and they set off to his tower. Irian does not care about the carcass, but does take an interest in Geralt. The wizard tricks Geralt into entering an illusion that closely resembles the Garden of Eden. The wizard reveals himself to be Stregobor, an old acquaintance. He says he concealed his identity because he is in fear of a monster and needs Geralt's help. After beating around the bush, Stregobor admits that the monster is a young woman named Renfri who was born under the curse of the Black Sun. Stregobor begs Geralt to reason with him, saying that killing her would be the lesser evil, but he refuses to help him. The Witcher soon makes his way to the local tavern and meets Renfri's band of companions. They enjoy some witty banter, and soon enough, Renfri shows up. She informs Geralt and the alderman that she has a notice from the king that basically declares her and her band above the law. They are not to be disturbed in any way. Before Geralt leaves, Renfri tells him that Stregobor will die tomorrow, and it would be the lesser evil if he died alone. Geralt returns back to his room in Caldemain's house and finds that Renfri is waiting for him. She explains to him that Stregobor can save the town from slaughter if he just comes out of his tower and faces the music. She mentions that her sweet secret is like the Tridum Ultimatum. Like Stregobor, she compares her adversary to the Kikimora, saying that he is worse. They discuss the various levels of evil, and eventually Renfri infers that she will not attack Stregobor and will depart the town tomorrow. Over breakfast the next morning, Caldemain mentions the Tridum Ultimatum. After explaining to Geralt what it is, the Witcher realizes that Renfri tricked him and is not planning on leaving. She plans on luring Stregobor out of the tower by killing townspeople. Geralt races to the market and confronts Renfri's band as they prepare for the attack. The band of 6 are no match for the Witcher, and as the last one is cut down, Renfri appears. After a brief exchanging of words and an even briefer fight, Geralt kills her. Stregobor approaches and wants to perform an autopsy to prove that she was cursed, but surprising even himself, Geralt refuses to let him near her. The crowd, seeing Geralt butcher so many people, begin to hurl rocks and stones at him. Caldemain implores the mob to stop, and they obey. He tells Geralt to leave Blaviken and don't come back. Never come back. First up to discuss Renfri. She was a princess whose father remarried. The new queen sent Stregobor to investigate whether she was cursed and would end up killing the queen and others. Renfri was taken to the forest to be killed, but the assassin raped her instead. Renfri killed him and took off on her own, living a life of crime and hunger. She gained notoriety with her band of 7 gnomes, not dwarves, and eventually Stregobor caught up with her and turned her into a crystal slab and buried her deep in a mine. A prince rescues her, reverses the curse, and Renfri leaves him to find Stregobor. Now, while her anger and hatred toward her stepmother and the wizard are understandable, was a life of banditry and crime justifiable? When Renfri seduces Geralt, she implores to him that she feels as human as anyone. She bleeds once a month, is hungover when she drinks, and curses when angry. While having to take this with a grain of salt, as she was clearly manipulating him, I believe this was an honest moment where she was pouring out her humanity to someone that would listen and, dare say, maybe understand her. Was she cursed? Or was it a self-fulfilling prophecy where someone is told they are a monster for so long that they eventually become one? The concept of evil. In one of his most famous lines, Geralt tells Stregobor, "Evil is evil. Lesser, greater, middling, it's all the same. Proportions are negotiated, boundaries blurred. If I'm to choose between one evil and another, then I prefer not to choose at all." Now we end up seeing that this is not his belief at all, as he does choose to act between two types of evil. When Geralt more or less says this to Renfri, she replies, "You don't believe in it, you say. You're right in one way. Only evil and greater evil exist, and beyond them, in the shadows, lurks true evil. Sometimes true evil seizes you by the throat and demands you choose between it and a slightly lesser evil." Stregobor believed that Renfri was cursed and would cause harm to others, and he was correct about the second part. Renfri was raped and forced to live a life of crime in order to survive. She also states, "Only true evil can force us to choose, whether we like it or not." So who is the true evil? Was it Renfri, who forced Geralt to choose between killing Stregobor or her? Or was it Stregobor, who by hiding in his tower forced Geralt to choose between attacking Renfri or turning a blind eye to a massacre? Was it both? Was it neither? To seemingly every townsperson, it was unequivocally Geralt who committed a massacre in the market. The concept of evil has been around in text for thousands of years. It defines our religions, ethics, and mores. This story gives a complicated example that at times there is no good choice. Sapkowski twists and molds morality that leaves a bitter taste in the mouth. Geralt did what I would call the morally correct decision, but he left that town with a nickname that he will take to his grave, the Butcher of Blaviken. Evil, above all else, is relative. The lesser evil to one person may be the greater good to another. As always, please send all comments, questions, and suggestions to witcherpodcast@gmail.com. Next time on Whispers of Oxenfurt, we will head to the royal castle in Sintra and learn the origin story of the actual hero of this series. I'm kidding. Kinda. With a question of price.